And welcome in, everybody, to the MHRT podcast. I'm your host, Mundungus Creasy. Let me try that again. Mundungus Creevy. I can't even say my own name. Joined by my co-hosts, a 6'10" Mexican, Christy, Mr. Boggins, and Glenn. We go live every Thursday at 7654. You know where to put the numbers on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So if you would, please give us a like and a follow, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And for the love of everything good on this planet, smash that thumbs up and share everything we post everywhere. How's everybody doing?
Doing all right. How's it going? How are you guys?
Pretty good. I wrote an intro this time. I didn't just wing it.
I saw you looking at it. Good job.
I'm getting all professional. Woohoo!
Maybe you should read your name right.
I did. I just read it wrong.
That prompter life.
The prompter. I'm like Ron Burgundy.
Bruce
I'll read
Almighty
anything
prompter.
that's on there.
Mundungus Creasy. Like your new rap name or something?
That's
Skeezy
it.
Creedy. That's what we call it.
Mundungus Creasy.
Creasy. In the green room, not in real life.
Whatever.
Yeah.
All right. So we had, I wouldn't say like major news, but there was a lot of things that kind of came out in the last 2 days. Like, for example, it looks like Justin Simmons might get tagged again. Looks like they want to sign him to a long-term deal, but I'm assuming if they tag him again, it's so that they have more time to work on a long-term contract. That would be my assumption.
Yeah.
I think it's a fair assumption, definitely.
Yeah, agreed.
Peyton's made it very clear that he wants to keep him.
Let's see here. What else we got?
And like it's been pointed out with Simmons, is truly what more does this guy need to be for the team on and off the field, in the locker room, in the community, to show that he deserves to stay? It's crazy. So
Yeah.
Everybody already making fun of me because I said
Every
crazy.
penny with Creasy.
So easy.
Let's start that hashtag, everybody. Let's start that hashtag in the comments.
No, we've already got a hashtag. It's hashtag amazeballs.
No, it's too late.
Chrissy doesn't like it, but I'm telling you, like, we're gonna
Skeezy
push
Creasy.
to get the Broncos on to Hard Knocks, and if they're on Hard Knocks, it would be amazeballs. That's where hashtag amazeballs came from.
Hashtag wizard skeezy creasy.
Hashtag the wizard's crazy.
I have to scoot out early tonight. I got to sleep outside Foot Locker to get the new Creasies tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Kanye himself spent a lot of time on those Creasies. Let me tell
The
you.
funniest thing about that was Foot Locker.
I live in Nebraska. We don't have those kind of fancy stores, so send me some.
No, they have like a famous footwear that's like for the entire state, you know.
That's exactly what it is.
A standard difference.
Muhammad Badri, Mr. Broncos 2005, had his birthday yesterday. So happy birthday. Whoop, whoop.
Happy belated
birthday.
Salud, feliz cumpleaños.
I think the next big thing would probably be Von Miller. And I don't even know why it's really a story, because nothing changed. Like, everybody went nuts because it's like, oh, they released something on Von Miller. It's the same thing. Like, we know nothing.
Yeah.
Like a recommendation went to the DA, but we don't know if that's a recommendation for not doing anything. If it's a recommendation for doing something, we no idea.
I think it's just part of the process. I mean, regular, like in any process. So
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm an expert or I know a lot about it, but you would think that if there wasn't anything, that if they didn't find anything, that they wouldn't move it forward, because there's no point. They didn't find anything. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, they found something, but that doesn't mean that it's necessarily enough to do anything with.
I think the most important thing about Von Miller right now is his Instagram profile picture. If you haven't seen it,
Which one's that?
yeah, it's great.
It's absolutely fantastic.
It's fantastic.
I have not seen it as of late. No,
We can't just talk about it and not describe it. What is it?
Pull it up. I'm gonna get my two pages.
I think he's going to show you. It's great, right?
Oh, that's
Peyton
funny.
and Ed McCaffrey had a baby.
pretty much.
That's Kareem's Bronco forever to me, so I think he's gonna stay.
There you go. All right, real quick, we got Albert Knoppers in here. We've got Kenneth Booker in here. Landon's in here. Jason O'Neill.
Kenneth Booker and I are friends on the Facebooks now.
On the Facebook?
On the Facebook machine.
How
Yes.
old are you? I think you're the youngest one in here. What?
I can call it the Facebook.
Facebook, if you want to, I guess.
Laughing.
Another one. It doesn't really have anything to do with the Broncos, except they need a tackle. But Isaiah Wilson. Don't know if I'm a fan. I mean, the big thing with the big thing with Isaiah Wilson is that it doesn't seem like he wants to play. But Juwan James doesn't seem like he wants to play either. And Isaiah Wilson's a lot cheaper.
It's worth a 6th or 7th, whatever. I'd take it just to see.
No
Well, I guess, but
I guess
we just finished cutting the last thing we got from Tennessee for cheap, so I would have hoped that Isaiah Wilson would work out a lot better than Jarrell Casey did.
I mean, how do you feel about that? Like, I know that we all had assumed that like Jackson might get cut, Bouye, Casey to save cap space, but like,
well,
should we have held on to him? What was the issue?
I think it's a money issue. Like
it's a money. Like Casey would have had to have balled out for Denver to have come to the table with him. Like, hey, look, maybe we can't pay you what you're due. They would have at least tried to offer a restructured contract, but unfortunately, he didn't play as great as everybody in Denver thought, and then he got hurt, and that just hurt his chances. And with a new GM,
I think that's the big question: is like, why didn't he work out? Like, what was the difference between? But even in those 3 games, he didn't do anything. Like,
he didn't.
I mean, what was the difference between the Broncos and the Titans? Like, I guess I don't understand. I don't understand the difference between like what a DT does between like a 3-4 and a 4-3.
You get more help in a 4-3. I mean, you're lined up differently, and in a 3-4, if you're defend, I don't even think they had him really running much at 0. I think because he's not big enough. Usually you have like a Mike Purcell that's just like a gap filler at DT in a 3-4, but he wasn't. I think they had him playing.
Yeah.
Well, they had him next to Purcell, right?
Yeah.
Purcell and Shelby Harris, I think, at times.
But then they had Shelby Harris on the outside when they had Casey and Purcell in the middle, right? And then when they lost Casey, they moved Harrison. And then when they lost Purcell, that's when they moved.
You mean like when they're stacking the box? Oh, well, I guess Draymond technically wasn't starting.
Mm-hmm.
You forget that because Casey was out after the 3rd game.
Yeah, after that Steelers game.
It seems like such a small sample size to say the guy wasn't any good in Denver. It was just essentially non-existent.
I just think the biggest thing is the money. Like, it was 12 mil, no dead cap. You have Draymond Jones just sitting in the wings, who did great, perfectly fine during the stretch of the whole entire season. So, I mean, why not? Like, you don't really have any, and especially if you're expecting to sign Shelby Harris on the other side, you're just signed Mike Purcell. It's just kind of like, and this draft is real deep. So it's just like, I think it was freeing up space for, and you have Justin Simmons that you got to pay. So you're just,
so then
it's nice.
So what was the saving the cap space for? I mean, does that signal that they're going to go after Harris? If they're going to go after Harris, but they moved Draymond Jones in the middle, is Harris staying on the outside? Are they going to go after Harris? Are they going to?
Well, first they need to re-sign Harris, Mundungus.
Well, right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, is them signing Harris one of the reasons why they let Casey go?
It could be. I mean, Harris was able to play the entire season, aside from his 3 weeks out with COVID. Being that aside, I mean, he had, So I mean, Harris more than. It was almost a godsend that he was not picked up by any team last offseason, and that the Broncos were able to bring him back on a 1-year deal. And it even though it looks like Justin Simmons is going to get franchise tagged again, it could be just Peyton trying to hold the cards until we see what free agency brings to the table. But it looks like that's pretty much a stipend in Denver. Maybe not just in Denver, but the league all around in terms of, GMs signing players and not just so much franchise tagging them, but just kind of waiting to see what they can do in free agency and see how much money is left and say, okay, now they can go back to the table and, say we have enough money to pay you this much. And, and in some cases take team friendly discounts.
I think everybody's reading so far into the Justin Simmons thing. Broncos want him. He wants to stay. It's just a way of keeping him in under tech. It's not disrespect. It's he's not going to play under the franchise tag. He's going to get extended, no doubt about it.
Well, that's what Kenneth comes in with his superior knowledge. Tagging him gives him till July to sign him, I think, which is kind of what we were talking about. Them signing him or tagging him again would kind of give him more leeway to work on getting a contract done.
And I don't think Shelby's really the priority right now. I think Justin is definitely more the priority, and I don't think. I mean, Draymond's not going to be inside at all, but it'll definitely be Purcell and Draymond on the left side, kind of. And then the right side is going to be what's going to be the kind of toss up if Shelby stays or not. Otherwise, we're probably going to be looking for a little something. But also, Deshaun was looking pretty good in the at nose too. Kaiser down the line also. So
do we extend Draymond before we ship him off for in the Watson trade?
Extend?
Do we need to extend him though?
I'm joking.
No, I know, but I mean,
no, he's not ready.
Is he still on rookie contract?
Oh yeah.
I think
Okay, because it's like his second year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, it's going into his third year.
Yeah, that was his second year.
That was his second year. 2020, 2021 is his third year.
Third round pick, I think.
Yeah, so, he got drafted the same year as Locke.
He was great.
There was one
fifth round pick, I think.
There was
Draymond
one other,
I think, or fourth round.
I thought it was third.
Third round.
I think it was third.
Oh, okay.
Or was it Williams?
I don't remember. One of them was third, and one of them was fourth or fifth. I can't remember, but they were past the first and second for sure.
There was, I know there's Vaughn where you can pick up his fifth year option. There's one other player that's got that option.
Yeah, third round.
I'm trying to remember who
Thank you, sir.
it was. I don't remember.
What was the question? Oh,
well, so Von Miller has the option of picking up his fifth year option.
Yeah.
There's another player that's that has that fifth year option where we got to decide to pick it up or not, and I don't remember who it is.
Wait, Von Miller has a fifth year option? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
For the club option. Yeah.
Right.
That's. I thought you were talking about fifth year option is like a first round rookie.
No. Like they're they're optional years.
Yeah. Kareem Jackson.
There it is. Okay. I wasn't because like Kareem Jackson. I think when they were breaking down like free agents, Von Miller's at like 13 million or 16 million, like per year, and then like
18.
Kareem. Well, but I'm saying like what they would get if they were, or what you could see them getting if they went to the free agent market.
Oh, gotcha.
And then like Kareem Jackson was at like 11 or 12 million.
Yeah,
right.
They're both pretty old, so we'll see how much.
Does Kareem have money guaranteed to him at some point soon? I think he does, and if he does, he's not going to get cut prior to the recruitment process that he's doing such a good job with.
Yeah, they might use that. He is.
Chad, did they let Elway know they were releasing Casey? I mean, does it matter at this point?
I think Elway knew that after week 3. Be honest with you,
I don't think it really matters if Elway knows or not. Like he's probably on a boat right now, chillaxing.
You probably called Tennessee like, "Hey, can we get that pick back?"
His boat's named the baseballs.
Only
yeah,
2.8 mil signing bonus, and that's about it. Doesn't look like any besides that.
That was the other thing I was going to talk about was as far as signing bonus goes. Ken Rose is saying, "What's the status of Melvin Gordon? Possible suspension." It all depends on how his court case works out. But as far as the guaranteed money goes, I believe that there's a story that came out that there is an option to stop paying Melvin Gordon his guaranteed money, which would make him go down to just like base pay for the year. If for example, he gets convicted or something of that nature.
Mike Kliss actually said that today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the way things are looking now, it doesn't look like this is something that he can beat. And I mean by beat, I mean the NFL suspension. It's not looking like something where the NFL is gonna, overlook it and say, hey, all things forgiven. Don't worry about it. So it could be his 2 or 3 game suspicion. Now, the other important question to me was what was the name? The running back from the Raiders who got a DUI.
Oh,
also. Yeah. Josh Jacobs. Thank you.
Yeah.
That whole thing has been swept pretty much under the rug because up until there has been no mention from the league about suspension or whatnot, and this whole talk about Melvin Gordon has been following him since he signed with Denver last year. So I'm trying to figure out what's the difference between the two. Especially since there's actually photographic evidence of what Josh Jacobs did versus what Melvin Gordon did, which Melvin Gordon didn't crash or anything. He just got pulled over.
It's because it's Denver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's so hard to know what kind of punishment they're going to come down with because it varies in different situations. It
doesn't make sense ever.
Yeah. So it's let's say, for example, Melvin Gordon is found not guilty. Well, that doesn't mean that Goodell can't come in and suspend him for 4 games or 6 games or 3 games. So you never know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
I like how he just made it more complicated for the Broncos by pleading not guilty.
Right.
It's it would have been so much easier if it was just went through the process. Broncos oh, he's going to go through not guilty. Come on. Get
the 2 game suspension at the end of last season and call it.
Now they have to call Philip Lindsay back and be like, all right, well, maybe you will stay now.
Yeah, exactly.
You're the Colorado kid.
Yeah, you and Royce get suited up because we're going to need you boys.
Say it. Yes, you're the Colorado kid.
Yeah. No.
Hey, I honestly don't see the Broncos keeping Royce Freeman. I think they move on from him.
I don't think they have a choice to keep him if they get rid of
Philip.
Philip.
People have said that every single season since he's been a Bronco.
Yeah,
and he's still here.
But
that's what I was gonna say.
What's the harm?
Let's say that Melvin Gordon gets suspended, while Von Miller might still get suspended. Plus, if we'd kept Boye, he was suspended. Good Lord, what happened last year?
Everything's a slap on the wrist.
Sounds like Mike's high school career.
Yeah.
People got bored inside.
Hey, that's just a weekend with Mike.
Calm down.
Crazy.
Crazy, yeah.
But I don't think Royce is going anywhere because otherwise we won't have any running backs the first 4 games of the season.
Hey, give Kendall Hinton a call. If he can be a quarterback, I'm sure he can play running.
I still think we should go after Kenyon Drake. I still would love to have him on the team. I mean, is
healthy too much? But besides,
okay. So let's say that Denver doesn't take a running back anywhere in the draft. Is there one in free agency that you like? I know you were saying Marlon Mack.
There's a bunch of them.
There's always a bunch.
You know who the Broncos should target for running back? Or Mike, you know what I'm going to say? Who's my favorite running back? Say it with me.
What's his face? It's Muhammad.
Kofani, thank you.
Muhammad.
That's your answer right
I
there.
knew Muhammad.
That's your answer.
Is he even still on the practice squad, or is he gone? Is
he still in the NFL?
Yeah, he's still in the NFL, man.
Where?
He's somewhere.
He doesn't even know.
We're not friends on Facebook yet. He hasn't accepted me.
Oh,
agent.
When I find out, you'll find out.
But we keep getting in into this argument on if we should trade draft picks. If we don't, who are we going to take? Do we draft players for need? And I think we should be having more of a conversation of, free agency is for
Cardinals.
Free agency is for need picks, whereas draft is for draft the best player. At least that's what I think. I don't know if that's how everybody thinks. But if that means if we're going free agency wise, then we need to look at outside linebacker, inside linebacker, defensive tackle, offensive tackle, and then quarterback. Right? What?
No cornerback?
Did I not say cornerback?
No.
Thought I did.
Oh, there's that skeezy coming through
The
again.
last thing I said was quarterback.
I thought you said quarterback.
No,
Oh, me too.
cornerback. We already know we're getting a quarterback somewhere.
It's
Cornerback.
Oh, okay.
Corner.
Yeah, I agree.
Capri Bibbs is a close second. We could use Capri Bibbs back.
Dear God, man.
Capri Bibbs. No, but okay, so
The best
Um,
Capri Bibbs story is that he was dating the same woman as Jay Gruden when Gruden was a coach.
Let's
Oh my gosh.
Richie said Scalfani might be on the Vikings now.
Mm-hmm. No, he's on the Cardinals. I just looked it up.
Cardinals. Oh, okay.
And he's
Damn
probably
it.
he's as short as Christie. So
the Cardinals get all their good players. They had Bosby last
She has
year.
a better hat.
Wow.
Whoa.
Bosby.
Bosby a best player?
Well, at the time.
Maybe like fourth best
Mhm.
corner.
Yeah,
That's a backup.
he'll be lucky to see
Fourth best backup.
the field this year.
Fourth best.
After that,
He's
Listen.
the fourth best we had at the time. We'll go with that.
That
I-
day.
Yeah.
I think there's plenty of running back options. To go back to the other point, I think there's plenty of running back options this free agency. Between free agency and the draft, there's a ton of options. So
Yeah.
I think we'll be okay.
Okay. And we keep talking about it every single week, but quarterback, the guy that throws the ball.
Kinda.
And we're not even really going to talk about Locke or talk about Watson because that's what everybody talks about. But now we've got people going nuts over Ben Roethlisberger of all quarterbacks. There's people now going nuts today over Russell Wilson. And then we've got Cam Newton thrown in there too. Those are the three big ones that I've seen.
mm-hmm.
Boggins, you just have like the whole Russell Wilson explanation just that you can cut and paste on everything because
Yeah,
Can
sure,
you
I'll do that.
go- can you
Here,
go-
Yeah, living in
over
Seattle
one
too.
throw.
yeah, that's fine. I actually have it right here.
I have it right here.
I had it queued up.
right in my pocket.
I have
Okay,
a picture
here's-
of my girlfriend
here's
and
a-
Russell Wilson's contract.
a tweet by Spot Track earlier today. Trading Russell Wilson won't be pretty for the Seahawks. Pre-June 1st dead cap, $39 million. Post-June 1st dead cap, $13 million in 2021 and $26 million in 2022. So I don't think the Seahawks are going to be willing to not only give up Russell Wilson, but also $39 million
Right.
at
Yeah,
the same time.
I
So,
don't.
He's
Russell
no
Wilson's not going anywhere.
And
No.
basically
Go anywhere.
handing the division to the Rams or Niners.
Yeah. Well, they're keeping Garoppolo now, so
Yeah.
or Cardinals. now.
yeah.
So and also Roethlisberger looks like he's going to re-sign with
Yes.
the Steelers.
Yep.
So,
Is he good?
For
But-
I
$40
didn't
million.
want to go down that hole.
Yeah, but I mean, there was an article that I read that that the whole thing that happened with Seattle's collapse last season was you could partially blame on Russell himself, and they just use Schottenheimer as the scapegoat.
It's my best friend
So-
right now.
Oh, calm down.
Fritz Magic with the battle with Drew Locke. I mean, if Fritz Magic comes to Denver, I don't think would they battle for the.
Probably. Well, okay. So this is one of the things that I wanted to cover was we keep talking about this quarterback. What are your actual options to fix it? Like I have three things in my mind that I've kind of thought about. Like, okay, so my number one option would be to get Watson, obviously. Number two, I think I'm big on going after Alex Smith. And then having Locke sit behind Smith and learn until he's ready, because he's 36, and we don't know how his leg is going to be in a year or two. So bring him in for a year or two, let Locke sit and learn, and then see what he can do. Or option three, bring in Fitzmagic, start Locke, and then let them figure it out from there. So at least you have that backup just in case.
I actually like all those options, quite honestly. I'm trying to think of another one that I could replace with number three, but I mean,
Well,
Watson,
and that's why I brought up like
Smith, that would be great.
well, and that's why I brought up like Cam Newton, because people have been talking about him and all these other free agents.
Oh my gosh.
But I I don't know if I want to do that.
I mean, think about it.
There's
Everybody's on Drew for not having many touchdowns. Didn't Cam only have like 5 or 8 touchdown passes all season? I mean,
Yeah, they were all running touchdowns.
He was their best running back.
They had completely had to change their offense. McDaniels had to change his offense completely. Man, if only Shermer would have done that with Hinton.
Yeah, right.
Cam had 8 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Can you imagine if Drew had stats that bad? I mean,
Yeah.
Option 4, Kendall Hinton.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
yeah, he'd be the option. They'd be running the option.
I think there's only potentially 2 options, really. I think that if they are going to get another quarterback, it's going to be someone that's better than Drew Locke, and there's not even a question about it. And I think it's going to be either Deshaun or I think maybe even Cousins, someone. But it would be someone that would be better than Drew Locke. Otherwise, it's just going to be someone that's going to kind of push and kind of help and I don't know, some form of competition. But I don't know what kind of competition Dalton or Fitz is. It's not like the Broncos are going to make them their permanent starter or sign them to an extension or anything. It's just primarily to push Drew and hope that we come out of some sort of obscurity, because I just feel this next season is just going to be the biggest lull season ever. And I'm excited.
Well, and Luke had tweeted out that Mike Kliss had told Brandon Stokely the Broncos will add competition to the QB room before training camp.
Mm-hmm.
Whether we know who that is, I doubt it.
I don't think it's going to be like a Darnold. You know how people are talking about Darnold, but I'm not, because they would have to give up like a third round pick.
You'd have to trade for him, though.
You'd have to give it. Yeah, I'm saying you'd have to give up like a 3rd round pick, and he's going to be going into a contract year the very next year, and you're just kind of like that. What a weird circumstance that would be, where you'd have to make some decision of either, if like say Darnold wins out, then you have to sign Sam Darnold to an extension, but if he doesn't pan out, you gave up a 3rd round pick for him. That's what you're expecting to be pretty much like just playing level at that point. Like I have Drew Locke it's a sideways move. So yeah, I mean, it has to be either up or stay with Locke and hope for the best.
Well, and one of the things that why I brought up Alex Smith is because that the story that came out on NFL.com where he just laid into the Washington football team. Like, they didn't want me. They didn't want me to come back. They tried to put me on the physically unable to perform list, like all that stuff. So, I mean, unless he's offered like a really sweet contract, I don't see him going back to Washington. So in that scenario, Alex Smith, I believe, is a true upgrade over Drew Locke, but you're only going to get him for a year or two. So
I'd take Alex Smith for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're that concerned about how Drew Locke is performing and he needs to sit and learn, that would be the guy to get to let him learn behind.
That relationship with Washington came pretty much as a surprise to me. You know, it seemed like such a feel-good story, and there were reports that he was tight with Snyder, and then perhaps he was going to be moving into a permanent job with the team after his career was over. So to see that, and the fact that he knew that they didn't believe in him and basically was, giving them the finger with everything he had that he was doing. I think he's gone, and he'd be prime for the taking. And he's not somebody that gets too worked up over the younger quarterbacks being next to him in the room. I mean, he had Kaepernick, and he helped him extensively, and he had Pat Mahomes, and he was great. And there's never been anyone that said anything negative about Alex Smith as a teammate. So I would welcome him in a heartbeat if we don't trade for like a Deshaun.
Oh, Deshaun would be fun. I'm excited. Like, Deshaun would be fun. And I know that Houston said that he's not for trade, but he sat down and had that meeting with the new coach and was like, yeah, I'm not playing.
Did you hear about the voicemails? Apparently they won't answer the phones to a point where people are teams are literally giving the trade or like potential trade offers
on
over voicemail. Like, wow. What a perfect way to be like, no, I'm not trading him. I'm trading him. And you're like,
yeah.
Now I'm trading him.
Your call's not important to us.
Your call is
Well, I mean, and honestly, Deshaun's going to basically have his pick of where he wants to go. But there's only, 3 or 4 teams that can even compete with each other as far as like cap space goes, draft capital goes, players go. Like there's only 3 or 4 teams that are going to be able to give Houston anywhere close to what they want. My question is, we keep having this debate over giving up the farm or selling everything we've got. Like what does that mean? Like, do people think that we're giving up like 12 players in a trade? Because that's not going to happen.
That's right.
Well, first you have to kind of ask yourself is what do they want? Because they don't want anything right now. They don't want anything. They don't want to give them up. So it's basically just people throwing their trades out there, and the best man wins. Whoever throws the most. So nobody knows really.
That's not true because Watson has to agree to it.
Yeah.
He has to agree to it. If he doesn't like it, then
so let's say that Watson becomes is like, I'm leaving. Houston's like, we're accepting trade offers. What would you be what is like your max of what you would give up for Watson? Anybody?
Start us out, Chris.
I'm good.
I mean, that's tough to say because it puts you in a position. I mean, right now they're creating a lot of buzz with Watson, and why? Like, why are they doing that? Why are they trying to make this huge deal out of nothing? If they're not willing to trade him and he's not wanting to play, maybe that's just what it's going to be. So, I mean, what it is right now is every team saying, well, how much are we going to give up to get him? Because that's all that there is. You could say I'm going to give up 10 players and 3 first-round picks.
Yeah, but nobody's going to do that, though. Like, there's no GM on the face of the planet that would accept that trade.
Bill O'Brien.
At most, maybe Bill O'Brien, yeah. And that's not like 12 players in a peanut butter jelly sandwich.
Well, I guarantee you that the Texans have, like, there's no way they haven't talked about it. There's no way they haven't been like, okay, we have to discuss this as an option. Like, we're going to try our best to make sure, like, we're going to donate to the community like Deshaun Watson is doing. We're going to sit down and have a face-to-face. Oh, you still hate us? Well, bummer. Okay, well, let's talk about what exactly, potential we could get out of this, but they're not going to announce it to everybody. But I got, and what did you say you're good, by the way? I want to go back up to 6 foot. You said you're good. You say you're good. Like, you wouldn't. There's nothing. If they were just like, give me a first-round pick, 1 first-round pick for Deshaun Watson.
No, I'm good, bro. I'm just saying that because I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Drew Lock. I get it. Deshaun Watson.
Okay.
Deshaun Watson is great. He put up great numbers with little whatever he had. That's great and everything. I'm just saying that while Deshaun Watson coming in to Denver would make Denver a playoff team, no doubt. It's a lot to put up there to say that Deshaun Watson can take us to a Super Bowl, let alone win one. Because it's already Drew Lock is already having to deal with playing some of the best quarterbacks in this division. And yeah, I'm throwing Justin Herbert in there because Justin Herbert had a really good regular season, and I'll eat crow on that because I went on the air before that and saying that I thought Justin Herbert wasn't going to make it; he was going to flame out. But that's just me, man. I know Boggins is big on it, and a lot of other people on social media are big on Denver giving up cap space and giving up picks because picks don't mean anything, and and I know Boggins, all the first round picks that Denver have flamed out, Shane Ray,
not all,
Lynch,
but
all of them.
75% of them.
Yeah, 75%. Say what you want. And unfortunately, that's just the risk it's not just what the Broncos have to go through. There have been plenty of NFL busts over the years, first round through whatever, on all the teams that have flamed out. And that sucks. But making the conversion from the college to NFL is not as easy as most of these players think. So
and you also have to think that.
Yeah.
You also have to think that some of those first round picks that everyone is willing to give up, Denver's traded back a lot in a lot of years, and they've gotten multiple players for that one pick. So, I mean, you have to look at the long, in the long run, how it's helping the team with trading back or whatever they're going to do with those first round picks, because some of those players mean a lot to Denver. Like it means like go to the playoffs or no playoffs with the players that they've.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I brought up this point the other day. Name except for Glenn, because I know because he knew this right off the bat. But name the players that were given up to trade for John Elway.
I wasn't even born yet.
Me neither.
It doesn't matter because you got John Elway, right?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter because you get Deshaun Watson. And Deshaun Watson has put up better numbers than John Elway has in his first 4 years. That's it.
Well, and like 6'10", you keep talking about how you don't want Denver to go back into the quarterback desert, but until we find that quarterback that's actually a franchise quarterback, we're in the quarterback desert. So we're in it right now. Like whether you believe in Locke or not, we're in it. So if you go and you have the option of getting a Deshaun Watson, which no one can debate that he's a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. He just is. How do you not? Like, I understand your belief in Drew Locke. I get it. But 32-3. Big difference. Like, how do you not go after Watson at all? That just doesn't – that's like, Peyton Manning's in free agency. We got Drew Locke. We don't need to worry about that cap hit. Screw that. Let's stick with Locke.
You mentioned 32.
Who wants Peyton Manning?
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned 32-3. That could be our record in the next two and a half years with Deshaun at the helm. We're not going to give away all our
take.
Yeah, we're not going to give away. I don't like the farm is not a thing. People say we're giving up the farm. That's not a thing. Like I don't know. Like you're not giving up the whole farm. You're giving up maybe 2 to 3 current players and draft picks that are maybes. When you have someone that's for the past 4 years has put up insane numbers.
Including last year when he had nothing.
They gave away DeAndre Hopkins and he threw the most he's ever thrown.
Yeah. Let's grab Juan Barboza real quick because he asked if we can answer. Who thinks that Deshaun Watson is going to the Broncos? I don't know if he's going to go to the Broncos. I can hope and I can pray and I can wish that I want him to. But like it's the same thing as like when Peyton Manning was a free agent. I did not think he was going to come to Denver. I figured it was going to be New Orleans or Tennessee because he had ties there. But then all of a sudden, hello, Peyton Manning. So I hope we get Deshaun Watson. But at the same time, I kind of disagree a little bit with Boggins because I at least have my limit of what I will trade. I don't think you do. You'd be like, take every draft pick for the next 3 years. We'll get Watson. But I'm thinking like 3 first-round picks, 2 2s, and you probably have to throw Locke in there without even question.
Mike, didn't you say you'd trade the next 2 full drafts for Deshaun?
Yeah. If we don't have to give up any players, you can take the next 2 drafts. Take them. 1 through 7, go. If we don't have to give up any players, you can take the next 2 draft picks, like all of them.
I like that. That's good with me.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I have my limit as far as like players go. Like, I kind of wish we still had Tim Patrick under contract because he would be a good trade piece. I had Jarrell Casey as a trade piece. Obviously, that's not going to work out because he's gone. Mm-hmm. So now you're looking at like, well, is it going to be Miller? Is it going to be Malik? I mean, Malik Reed, we could throw him in there.
It'd have to be someone in a rookie
contract. Or are we going to have to give up Chubb?
Yeah, it'd have to be someone in a rookie
probably
contract.
Probably is what it would be.
You're not going to like it. Like, that's the whole point of a trade. It has to be somewhat, even for both sides. You're not going to like it. But, like, our offense is built for a franchise quarterback. We have a ton of rookie contracts on the offense. It's built for someone that we're supposed to be paying market price for. And people are going to be complaining about Deshaun Watson's cap hit, but it's going to be the market soon. Dak is going to get more than it. Then you're going to have to, then here comes Lamar, here comes Josh Allen, here comes, that's right. I am limitless. Limitless. No, I'd give up 3 or 4 first round picks. I mean, I don't think we don't have 4. You can't
take
go 3
the
years.
cow too.
You can't. Yeah, that's right. The house, the wife, so you can. I mean, we don't. You can only give up 3.
You hold off on the
3
wedding
years. Yeah, 3 years in the future. So it would have to be 3 first rounds. Probably, I would give up 3. I think I saw it was like 3 firsts, 3 seconds, and like 2 players. So one would have to be Drew Locke, so they'd have some sort of quarterback, and then
the stadium, and then
the naming rights, the parking lot, the guy that paints the lines in the parking lot. They all have to go.
And I'll buy you beers every time at the stadium for the next 10 years.
It's like saying if you're the Chiefs, you didn't have Patrick Mahomes, but you knew what Patrick Mahomes was and was with another team, you wouldn't give up Tyreek Hill for Patrick Mahomes or Chris Jones. That's ridiculous. Of course you'd put him in a box and ship him away because you knew you were getting Patrick Mahomes.
Go.
That's it. It's over.
I guess I have.
But listen. Do you think?
Wait, I got to drop my again. All right, now we're good.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Do you think Mahomes would be Mahomes if he wasn't under Andy Reid? Do you think if Mahomes would be Mahomes if he came here with Shermer?
Did you not see his dodgeball throws? On the Super Bowl, he did all he could do with the circumstance.
But this is my one point to counter that point. We all have agreed that Shermer and Locke both are the problem. They don't work well together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So the question then becomes, in Shermer's past, has he had this many struggles with any other veteran quarterback that he's worked with? And the answer is no, he hasn't. That's why he's considered one of the top offensive coordinators before he came to Denver. So I think the problem is more Shermer and Locke than it is Shermer with any other quarterback.
Hey, the man sold Elway on Keenum, so I agree with that, Mundungus.
Now, my question is the 6'10". So let's say that Josh Allen came available for trade. Would you trade for Josh Allen?
Josh Allen.
Like right now. Josh, would you trade for Josh Allen?
No, you bet. Are you kidding me?
That's what I'm saying.
What do you mean?
No,
I'm just saying, I'm just saying, like, he was saying that he would not go after Watson at all. So I'm saying if Josh Allen came available for
what
trade,
they're asking for Watson is way over the top.
Right, which would be about the same thing that they would ask for Allen.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, if Allen became available for trade, would you want to trade for him?
But why were you even questioning it? You didn't question the Watson. You were like, nah,
no,
I'm good.
I was thinking of an answer. You
Oh,
cut me off. I was thinking of a way to answer Mundungus, but no, because whatever they're going to ask for him is the exact same thing that they're going to ask for Watson. They're not going to, unless Bill O'Brien ran the Buffalo Bills and you could get Josh Allen for a bag of chips, or if Josh Allen didn't have the year that he had this past season. But no, Josh Allen is playing some of the best football so far of his career. Hell, he just won the division from the AFC East that's not named New England, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So what are we saving these picks for?
The main problem is
stack the team without a quarterback play. That's the most important position on the field, and it's underserved at this point grossly. And we all wanted Drew to succeed, but if we just sit idly by, there's talk that Wilson, if he ever did get traded, would look at the Raiders. Can you imagine if we are sitting there on our hands? It would be the most miserable time to be a Bronco fan for years and years and years to go, because we sat on these picks so we could, not improve and not go after. Go big or go home. Really.
Put Locke on any one of those playoff teams this year. Which one goes to the Super Bowl? None. Like it's they have QBs. They have QBs.
I learned my lesson. Nope.
I'm not arguing the point.
This is another argument that I see all the time from Virginia. Thanks for joining. What will keep, I'm assuming, Watson from doing the same thing to us in a year or two that he's doing to Houston? Buyer beware.
Come on.
I mean, first thing, there are options you can put into his contract that don't allow him to do that. He was given a very, 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 very quarterback-friendly contract in Houston. hashtag Bill O'Brien. So I'm not saying that he won't, but at the same time, like, you don't really know what's going to happen because we're not in this situation very often, if ever. Like, you don't have a quarterback the caliber of Deshaun Watson at his age in his prime become available for other teams to get. So I don't know, but at the same time, like, with how bad Houston's being run and how many good players they don't have, why wouldn't you want to get out of Houston?
No, but he signed that. Something happened, and you know, Virginia, I can understand why you would ask that, because you do have to be cautious when you're giving up something substantial. But he signed that contract, was excited to stay with the Texans. So, and that happened after Hopkins was gone, I think. So he got that deal and was ready to embrace and stay. Something occurred with the management, with the ownership. We've heard the rumors about the GM search, the coaching search being left out in the cold, being promised to be involved.
Wasn't it something with the guy that used to be a pastor or preacher on the team?
Yeah.
That's who it was?
Yeah. I mean, so I don't expect that there's going to be a carbon copy of this happening. It's such an unusual situation because, I mean, there's no dust on the film of him at his news conference being excited about this deal.
Look deeper into the owner. If you're curious about why he wants to get out of Houston, look deeper into the ownership situation. It's a chaos. And coming from an owner that once said what is like, we don't let the prisoners tell the warden what to do when it came to DeAndre Hopkins contract talks. Yeah. It's just like, what?
So do you think that he wants to come to Denver then? Look at our ownership drama.
It's definitely probably nicer than Brittany. I guarantee Brittany Boland is probably nicer than McNair and Easterby.
Well, but I mean,
I can agree to that.
Nicer,
at the same time, like, even without having a legit owner, like, we're still being managed better than the Texans are.
Yeah.
Like, the Texans are terrible. And, like, if it was just an ownership issue and the roster was squared away, then I'd be like, why are you leaving? But it's not. Like, the entire team is trash. Now they don't have J.J. Watt. Like, they have nothing. There's nothing left for Deshaun Watson to stay for.
They literally gave up the two things that you would want for a quarterback. His left tackle. They traded away his left tackle for a first-round pick, and then best wide receiver in the league for a second-round pick.
And now they don't have
Johnson.
and now they don't have J.J. Watt, who was like the staple of the Texans for the last 10 years.
So why would you want to stay there?
I mean, I understand the point of, buyer beware. You don't know what he's going to do, but at the same time, with as rare the situation that we're looking at, you almost have to go after him. Like, he's that kind of quarterback. And do I know if Watson is a guy that can raise all ships? I don't know, but I know that he's not going to sink it. Just talent wise alone, we're going to be better off next year than we would this last year. Because I mean, and I'm not slamming Locke, but there were legitimately 3 or 4 games that we lost because of Locke. Just like there were 2 or 3 games that we lost because of Fangio. Just like there was probably 1 or 2 games we lost because of Shermer. So, like, there's blame to go around. But those 3 or 4 games that we lost because of Locke, we would not have lost if we had Watson. So that's right there. That's a playoff team right there, or at least better than 500. So, I mean, you almost have to. Mic drop because nobody's saying nothing. I was gonna take a swig of my pop.
Can we can the Mohabbans comment on holes?
Where's this one? Boom.
Let me just say, all teams have holes. We definitely have holes on the defense. The Chiefs have holes, right? Even the Bucks have holes. Green Bay drafted a quarterback and a running back with their first and second pick last year. They have holes. They ran like tight man going into the half against the Bucks and got beat for a touchdown going into the half. They have holes. Every team has holes. And you can still fill those holes with other free agency or players in free agency, 3rd through the 6th round, other trades. Like there's a million different. There's still players that people forget about that go from like lower in the roster to moving up to first string. Like I think, what I was going to say for Calvin Anderson, I think will be might be a surprise right tackle this year. Stuff like that. Like there are things besides the most important position in sports is quarterback, who is with Deshaun Watson is really good. So remember that he's really, really, really good.
Yeah,
and he is the only position that touches the ball every single play on offense, like every single play. And you have I would say top 3, top 4 cornerback in the league right there to do that. So I want that one, please.
Well, and that's kind of goes into what we were talking about earlier. I think it was Mike Mayock that said before he became GM, when he was talking about draft, he's saying if you're drafting for need, there's a problem. Like that's what free agency is for. You use the draft to get and some teams go after the best player available in the position that they need. But then if you're, at least I think, if you're drafting right, you're drafting the best player available, no matter what position they are. So if we're using the draft and the draft picks that we could use to trade for somebody else as need picks, then we are in a lot more problems than what we think we're looking at. So we need to be able to use that cap space that we're going to have after whoever we re-sign to sign free agents to fill those holes, or as many as we can.
And let's not make it completely about Drew Locke. If Boggins just said he's a 3 top 4, that means he'd be an upgrade on 28 or 29 teams out there. So it just so happens that our quarterback is further down. Our record was bad. But the point is that there are a lot of teams that are looking at this and looking at what it would take to do that. And it's not because their quarterback is a disaster, has no potential to any of this stuff. It's that you have essentially a sure thing that if you suck it up, throw a lot of assets at it, the returns are so in your favor that they're going to be huge. Especially, again, I can't stress it enough, and I say it all the time, but our division, we're now in a division that we have 2 top-tier quarterbacks out of the 4 teams, and a third that's not too shabby. I mean, people don't like Derek Carr that much, but the guy's not a terrible player. So we cannot just be content, or we'll be in this position for years and years to go.
Well, and I don't think, other than maybe Boggins, there's been nobody on the podcast that has been harder on Drew Locke than me. And I've said over and over and over again, like, I do believe he's going to get the first 4 games of next year, and I hope they sign a backup. But if you have the option to get a Deshaun Watson, you have to. That's why that was my first choice. My second choice was Alex Smith and let Locke learn. So 2 of my 3 options has Drew Locke still on the team, and one of them has him starting. Do I believe that Drew Locke is going to be a great quarterback with the Broncos? No. Somewhere else? Maybe. But all I can do is look at what he's done and the numbers of similar situations to try to figure out where I think he's going to go. With Pat Shurmur, I don't think he's going to be that franchise quarterback. And that's not slamming Locke. That's just saying that, again, that those 2 don't work well together. And we know that Shurmur is staying. So if the big argument is, well, he needs continuity, well, if they fail this year again, Fangio's gone, Shurmur's gone, and God knows who else is gone. Do I think that Drew Locke stays on the Broncos? No. Does he go somewhere else?
I want continuity.
Well,
I want continuity and winning.
Continuity. Well, right, and I mean,
right now we're 5 years losing.
And this is the problem. Is like we're in this situation where it's like Locke might be good, but he might not. So do we go after a quarterback now when there's an all-star available or a lot of good quarterbacks in the draft, or do we wait until next year when we have absolutely no idea if there's going to be any quarterbacks available in free agency that are any good, or if there's any good quarterbacks in the draft. So we're kind of in that limbo right in between where it's like, holy crap, do we go all in or do we risk going completely broke and having another 5-11 season?
I was not harder on Locke than you, by the way. I am not.
Probably not.
I'm actually like a Locke fan. I just like it's the inconsistency, and if you're comparing him to Deshaun Watson, it's not even close for me. Like that's when we get like by Locke. Like I wouldn't
That's
even.
when we start fighting.
That's when it's like, of course, Watson. That's not even a question. I don't think Drew Locke's best day ceiling is not Deshaun Watson. But I think, do I hope that he prospers and is amazing? Duh. Like of course I do. Do I think he has the potential? Yeah. It just depends on how long we're willing to wait with these rookie contracts that'll be coming up, and then we have to actually start paying everybody because we've drafted really well last 3 years. Now, pretty soon those are going to bunch up on us when it comes to contracts, and then you're going to be looking at Locke like, oh shoot, we have to pay him. And it really depends. Is he mediocre? It's like, how do you pay a mediocre quarterback an extension? That's going to get real interesting. And then you're going to be in like Dak territory of just tagging. And then do I get rid of him? Do I not get rid of him? It's just confusing. So I'd rather just have a Deshaun Watson where you're like, that's a guy. Like he's really, really good. But I like Drew Locke. He's just inconsistent, and he's always been inconsistent. And it's nerve wracking.
Ian C. Raider, let me stretch out here just a little bit before I answer this question. You can't really put those chips in the basket yet, though. The guy's played 2 half seasons, not even. And with the whole situation last year, he hadn't even had a chance yet. I would accept that if we didn't have Joe Burrow, who had a brand new coach, brand new offensive coordinator, a terrible roster. There's no way that the Bengals have a better roster than the Broncos. I don't care what you say. Same thing with Herbert. Terrible coaching, terrible roster, brand new coach, brand new offensive coordinator. Did either one of those two play anything like Drew Locke? No. Why did Drew Locke miss 2 halves of 2 seasons? Because he got injured. The second one where he hurt his shoulder, kind of on him. He didn't know how to fall the right way, which I'll give you that just because I'm a nice person. But you got hurt 2 years in a row. Like there's nothing else I can say about that. Like I understand wanting continuity, but why is he the only one that was in that situation with no offseason and new offensive coordinator, new head coach? He's the only one that failed miserably.
Now, if there's any question whether Mundung, which I love the
Mundung
left off, talks about Fitzmagic at home, Landon has confirmed that there's
right. I saw it. Bam. Well, and, okay,
brainwashing.
But I did put Fitzmagic as the third option of my quarterback. So, and the reason I say that is because he is turnover prone, which is one of the rubs with Drew Locke. But he's
Broncos
smarter.
fans don't like that.
He's smarter than Drew Locke because he can go through more than one read, which is why we would want a veteran quarterback to come in. I'm not saying that it can't get better, but I mean, at this point, any starting quarterback was ranked better than Drew Locke. So anybody's kind of an upgrade at this point, right?
Do you remember about 40 minutes ago when Mike said, we don't need to talk about Drew Locke?
I wasn't talking about him.
It's the whole show, bro.
But I mean, isn't it? It's going to be the whole show until we figure out what's going to happen.
You guys do realize that they don't want to trade. They don't want to trade Watson right now, right?
No,
I mean, we just literally made a whole show about it.
Well,
of course they don't want to.
But yeah, but at the same time, like Watson basically has all the power. I mean, what's Houston going to do? Not trade him?
Sit?
Well, yeah, because he's sitting and like he's losing money. But who cares? Like he has plenty. So the only people that are hurt by him sitting is the Texans, because who do they have as quarterback behind Watson? Exactly.
That's why they don't want to trade him.
But that's what I'm saying. Like he can sit as long as he wants. Like he can sit for the rest of his contract. Then what are they going to do? So that's what I'm saying. Like, he has all the power right now. So the Texans might say, no, we're not going to trade him, but they're posturing because they want more draft picks or more players.
And do you think the fan base is going to want to stick around for that, just that conflict the whole entire time of like a quarterback that's not playing? They're not going to, like, an organization, if they're like, well, we're not going to get him back, he's not going to do it, then they would want to cut it clean and then just start over, because you want to wipe that away as quickly as possible. You don't want that lingering, well, Deshaun Watson is technically on the team and we're paying, $37 million a year now, or not, well, I guess they wouldn't have to because he's sitting out, but he would still be on the roster and fans would be aware and it wouldn't be great.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not sitting here saying that Denver is going to get Watson, but I do think that Watson has enough power and pull to be able to get out of that situation no matter where he goes.
Can you put up that Richie Rich I push back on Boggins?
Boy, there's a lot of those. Which one you want?
The I push back the I push back on Boggins.
This one.
Yeah. I'm sure that $53 million on IR, shoddy quarterback play, new offensive coordinator, COVID didn't have anything to do with that. Oh, and second hardest schedule in the league. Oh, and the Saints game. So, there's a reason. There's some reasons.
So what's going to be interesting is how this whole Watson thing plays out for all teams as it leads up to the draft, because with 4 top-notch quarterbacks that are going to be drafted early and perhaps a 5th in the first round, these quarterback-needy teams are going to start limiting the options of Houston, who they're going to be able to trade to, and the assets that they'll be able to trade. Be interesting. They're not going to want to in the bag. Did you even listen?
Sure.
He doesn't listen.
What'd you say?
Good news is Drew Locke is he's got a lot of interest right now. Denver's been getting a lot of calls about him. So
Was there like 10 teams interested, or up to 10, something like that?
Something like that. I wonder why.
Because there's not much there's not much on him.
Well, and again, I
he
don't
has potential. That's why.
Yeah, you can see that nobody is debating that he doesn't have talent. He's got talent. He's the most talented quarterback on the Broncos roster. Talent doesn't always transfer when you can't figure out a defense and can't adjust the offensive line and work on your footwork. Like you can only go so far with talent before you have to be able to figure it out mentally.
That's agreed.
So
and you can't do any of that stuff if you have head coaches that can't teach you.
Yeah, but here's the problem. That's all stuff you can learn on your own and work
YouTube?
on your
Is
own.
that
You know why? You know how I know that? Because
YouTube
Peyton Manning worked on that stuff with a coach before he came to Denver, and every year before that. So that's stuff you learn on your own. Sorry. I mean, you can only blame the coaching so far before he didn't do it on his own.
Let's compare him to Peyton Manning.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
That's really good.
But no, they usually have off-season coaches too. Like Jordan Palmer is a big time.
Yeah, they do.
Off-season coach. But I mean, it's all about.
They need to get to work.
There's potential. There's potential, and I think that's what they're going for. I mean, but I wouldn't get your hopes up too high. I mean, we haven't seen what that offer would be. It could be a 3rd or 4th round pick for Drew. You just don't. I mean, you don't know. So it's like you don't know about Drew. It's just there's teams that are in worse positions at quarterback than we are. Absolutely, I think that he has potential and he could be something, and we might have something. And he's super cheap. So of course you want to.
You got to think the Peyton's not going to give him up for nothing though. Like there's going to be they don't trade Locke unless they get something really, really good for him. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
So
you don't unless you're upgrading.
Yeah.
You're not getting rid of Locke, because you don't want to be looking stupid if you give Locke off and then he prospers somewhere else and then you don't have a Deshaun Watson. You know what I mean? If you have a Deshaun Watson, I don't care. But if he goes off and it's like boom and it like looks good, then you're like, well, now I got egg on my face. So of course you're only gonna, if you get something in return that's equivalent a quarterback, because we have nothing behind him. So, God, that would be funny if we just got like some second round picks for Drew Locke, and now we're like, well, we got some second round picks.
Yay!
But those picks are really important. Remember, they're really important.
Really important.
Quarterback.
All right, well, that's going to just about do it for us. We got to get going. We want to remind everybody we are live every Thursday, 7, 6, 5, 4. You know where the numbers go. On Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter. Make sure that you like, follow, subscribe, turn on notifications, and hit that thumbs up and share everything everywhere. Also, we are live with Broncos Talk every Tuesday at exactly the same time, 7, 6, 5, 4. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us on this podcast episode, and we will see you next week.